Well, after almost an entire season filled with speculation, Manchester United has finally pulled the pin on the career of Jose Mourinho. He has been under pressure since the start of this campaign due to his love for defensive football. This, coupled with underwhelming results and his continued toxic relationship with midfield kingpin Paul Pogba, has left him increasingly vulnerable. Well, the Portuguese took charge of the Red Devils on the 27th of May 2016 after being axed by Chelsea in the previous season. In his first season, the 55-year-old won the Community Shield, the League Cup and also the Europa League. All right, let's unpack this now with sports reporter Hloni Mtumkulu, who joins us. And the Man United faithful, Hloni, if you look at the stats of young Jose Mourinho, could be quite relieved that he's gone. He's not had a stellar time with them, has he?
No, he hasn't. And I mean, they've been calling for it for a long time. As results build up or results don't even happen, as the whole drama with Paul Pogba has been playing itself out, you know, as they've been playing a very sort of un-Manchester United style of play, it's all been building up to this moment. And of course, if you're going to lose against one of your biggest rivals, Liverpool, the way that they did on Sunday, well, it should be tickets to you.
And if we take a look at some of the stats over the past few years, I mean, obviously we're always going to compare managers for managers. And Jose Mourinho, 144 games, he won 84 of them, but he lost 28 as well. And if I'm not mistaken, Hloni, whenever it comes to pre-season transfers, the management at Old Trafford were blocking him from the get-go because they'd said to him on a number of occasions, no, you can't have these players. That's not, I think he used the style of football that we play.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he was given, this past transfer period, he was given some leeway to sign a few players. But the problem, of course, is that when you sign those players and you're still not getting the desired results, and as you say, then your style of play is still not what is wanted from Manchester United. You're not able to make use of the players that you have to get results, then that will be a big problem. And I mean, Manchester United is a trophy-winning club, and they haven't done so well since the departure of Sir Alex, you know. So it's been especially in the league, where he won like 13 trophies with them. Now they haven't won a league since a league title since he left, you know. So it's been very much a part of the legacy of Manchester United that they're winning, but they haven't won recently, and he's been part of that. And the fact that I think when Louis van Gaal left, they were expecting him to be the savior, you know, to bring them back to those glory days. I mean, he's a very well-respected coach. He's won Champions League titles, he's won Premier League titles, he's won titles in Portugal as well, you know. So he's won titles across Europe, and you expected, or they expected, that he would bring them back to those days. That hasn't happened.
Has it been long enough, though? I mean, 2.5 years in the career of Manchester United. Is 2.5 years even long enough?
Well, yeah, 2.5 years compared to what Sir Alex did, I think, is obviously one thing. But I think the issue with Jose Mourinho, the big issue is the fact that Manchester United were being very defensive and they weren't attacking. That's a big thing, obviously. Obviously, the Paul Pogba situation, you know, they lost to Liverpool. It was the first time that Manchester United had lost to Liverpool in, I think, 6 or 7 matches that they had played, you know. So obviously, that was a big deal. They drew against Arsenal a few weeks ago. That's a big deal, you know. So you don't draw against Arsenal, they drew against Chelsea as well. So I think it's a long time coming. And earlier this season, they lost to Brighton. I think it was their second game. It was just, I think that was symptomatic of things that were coming. They drew against Crystal Palace, a goalless draw even, you know. So it's just been a stack of things that have been building up to this moment that actually this is not really going the way that we would have wanted. Obviously, the first season when he came in, you know, you want to give him time, and they gave him time, and he won the Europa League. But even in that season, they finished 6th, you know. So it wasn't as if they won the Europa League and they were doing well in the league. And then they won the League Cup. The League Cup is a second-tier competition, really, compared to the FA Cup and compared to the league as well, you know. So that was not going to win him any help.
Any favours or any help at all from the management. Has there been any statement from him? Obviously, Manchester United, across their formal channels, have come out and said, we wish him well in his future and his successes in the future. Has he come out and said anything? He's a very vocal young man, isn't he?
Yes. But I mean, when he gets sacked, when Chelsea sacked him, I think it was in 2015, he didn't say anything in the immediate aftermath of that. So I wouldn't expect him to say anything. I think what is interesting is that he was sacked in December of 2015 by Chelsea, his second stint at Chelsea, and now 3 years later, he's in this position again for the same sorts of things where he's just lost the dressing room, and it's just like this man who's supposed to be this genius of managing, and he is, and he's a master tactician, but when it's just not coming out the way that he wants to in the Premier League at the moment. His early days definitely, but at the moment I think that things are changing, and he's just not he's not intent on changing how he coaches or how he manages.
Well, based on his previous track record, perhaps even a little bit before Chelsea, one would argue that the way he was doing things clearly was working, just not with this team. So no idea where he is going. But now, of course, I'm sure it's going to be the £130 million question, or whatever these managers are earning these days. Who are we looking at that's going to come in? I'm reading some of the blogs from overseas. We're talking about Zidane, we're talking about Deschamps, Laurent Blanc, and of course, you can't mention a potential Man United manager without mentioning the Welshman Giggsy as well. What are you hearing? Are they even in that caretaker discussion?
Well, I did read something from UK papers now, and the statement says that they will go through a process of appointing someone, but apparently they're not looking for someone within the Manchester United fold or who's been around that. So I'm not sure that Ryan Giggs, obviously he's out of that now, but I'm not sure that he would be one of those people. But of course, I think in the off season there was talk that potentially Zinedine Zidane, with leaving Real Madrid, might be heading to Old Trafford. So it might be, who knows? But someone like Didier Deschamps as well, with the work that he's done with the French national team, and as well in Europe and France. So that might be someone that they could bring in as well.
Khlani, thanks very much indeed. We're going to continue to unpack this, of course. It's amazing how in the world of football you talk about one manager leaving, but it's how those decisions are being made and the influence the players, especially over in the UK, actually have. But Khlani, no doubts, we're going to chat to you again a little bit later. My colleague Khlani Mthimkhulu on that breaking news that you would see at the bottom of your screen from earlier today. Manchester United and Jose Mourinho have parted ways with immediate effect. Have a good Christmas, Jose Mourinho.